What happened to Pam?
I mean, look, I think a lot of, Jesse, first of all, thanks. It's great to be here. A lot of what you just said about what happened to the Attorney General is simply not true. As President Trump said today, the Attorney General made our country safe again, and she is a friend, and she did a great job in the first year of this administration, and people should not forget what the Department of Justice that she came into just over a year ago. And so we are a better Justice Department. We are safer as a nation, and we should all be very grateful to the Attorney General for her sacrifice for this country and for what she did.
Yeah, I like Pam Bondi too, but she didn't give Swalwell a heads up on the Fang files, did she?
I would not believe that for a second. Okay. Absolutely, positively not.
Okay. The president reportedly, probably obviously frustrated that the cases against Tisch and Schiff and Brennan and Comey not really going anywhere. Are you the guy that's going to be able to get that done?
Look, I think the president is frustrated. Everybody is frustrated because what we saw happen for the past 4 years is unforgivable and can never happen again. And so certainly I don't mind the frustration. I appreciate the frustration because we do have to make sure that what happened for 4 years never happens again. And we don't talk about investigations, but I can tell you that the Department of Justice is working hard every day. It was working hard yesterday, and we're going to keep on working hard tomorrow. And I'm honored that President Trump has asked me to step in as acting, and also much appreciative for what Pam Bondi did for the past year.
I mean, you get the anger. I mean, what Biden and Obama did to this president, you understand there's a lot of anger about that, right?
Not only do I understand, I lived it, Jesse. You don't forget, I was on your show the night 2 years ago, the night that President Trump was found guilty in Manhattan in the middle of the lawfare. So I do not need I had a firsthand accounting of what happened. And so, yes, I understand it. The American people understand it. And I know that the American people expect that it will never happen again. And we take that seriously.
Yeah, you fought that case hard. You absolutely did. Now, the Epstein files, you'd agree, not handled well?
And I don't, first of all, I have never heard President Trump say that the Attorney General that anything that happened to her had anything to do with the Epstein files. And so, look, the Epstein files has been a saga that's lasted for the past year. And what happened when the president signed the Transparency Act is the Department of Justice has now released all the files with respect to the Epstein saga. And the Attorney General Bondi and I appeared in front of Congress voluntarily a couple weeks ago to answer any questions they had. We have made every single congressman, senator available to come and see any document, redacted, unredacted, that they want. And so I think that to the extent that the Epstein files was a part of the past year of this Justice Department, it should not be a part of anything going forward.
Okay, well, I mean, you've combed through these files, right? Who was Epstein spying for?
Look, I don't know that he was spying for anybody. Nobody's ever said that.
No? You don't think he might have been a spy for a foreign country?
I have no idea if he was a spy. All I know is that we don't have any evidence in the Epstein files that the FBI collected over 15 years that suggests that, Jesse. I don't know. I wasn't part of the original prosecution team. Neither was Attorney General Bondi. And I can tell you this. There's only one president that's held Mr. Epstein accountable, and that's Donald J. Trump. During his first administration, that was the administration that prosecuted him, and during this administration, it's the administration that's been totally transparent and released all the files. And no matter how much criticism people want to make about the Epstein files, that is indisputable. It's undisputable that nobody talked about the Epstein files for 4 years during Biden, 4 years. And so when President Trump said, let's release the Epstein files, and the law was passed that allowed us to legally do it, we did it.
Okay. I'm not sure you totally get what people feel about that, but I want to move on. The fraud situation. I love the fraud czar. I'm thrilled that you guys are cracking down everywhere across the country. I know that Tim Walz is under investigation. Where does that stand?
Look, I will tell you this. You are right. This is an important and long overdue objective. Just today in Los Angeles, we had a takedown. 8 individuals were arrested for allegedly bilking over $50 million of intended loss from our taxpayer monies. And yes, this includes leadership in state governments, our investigations do, because guess what? They are in many ways the actual conduit. They're letting it happen by not doing anything to stop these individuals stealing from the American people. And so you're going to see this Department of Justice pour all of our heart and soul into fraud cases all over this country for the foreseeable future.
That is music to my ears, because we're sick of getting ripped off. Speaking of getting ripped off, I don't know if you saw, the New York Times is saying the Democrats were taking millions of dollars in foreign donations and may have been lying about it. Are you looking into this?
I can tell you that is a priority of this administration and this Department of Justice, and it's something that a lot of people have been very worried about for a very long time, and you should rest assured that it includes the Department of Justice and it includes me.
All right. Todd Blanche, thank you so much for joining us. And